Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful, wet La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers Podcast. Part of the Believe network of podcasts. What is going on, Clint Nation, as we call it here? Happy Thirsty Thursday, my dudes. Hope everybody is staying dry, staying alive. This is also rain delay. All Dodgers edition, All Dodgers live. On today's show, we are talking about left side, weak side, of course. Dave Roberts gives us some gold. You guys know I've been trying to avoid talking about Gavin Lux as best as I can while still realizing that it's a meaty topic to be talking about. But hey, Dave Roberts has changed his tune on Gavin Lux as the starting shortstop. Every little kid's dream for the Dodgers. So performance matters. We'll talk more about the Lux situation. We'll talk a lot about the Lux situation in a second. We're going to talk some Dodger bullpen. A few little moving pieces have happened there, plus a little bit of whatever at the end of the show, plus a whole bunch of comments. Of course, you guys know I am this guy, Clint Pasillas. You could find me as Real FRG on the social media things if you are so inclined to want to find me on the X, on the Instagram. Subscribe to the show here on YouTube. It really helps out the channel if you subscribe. Hit that notification bell to be notified most of the time, depending on whether or not the algorithm breaks or something happens. I don't know. Sometimes the notifications don't work. It's not a thing I do. It just happens. But and give the channel, give the video, give all the videos a thumbs up. Also, I did start a Patreon page, guys. If you are inclined to find another way to support, check it out. Patreon.com/RealFRG. There's a few little, I don't know if we want to call them perks, but there's some cool things I think we're trying to build up. We're trying to get going for the channel, including a way to kind of talk to each other during the games with the, what do they call those? The Discord. Still trying to get that thing going up. And the text line, the voicemail line where you guys can leave a message and just talk about your Dodgers, and we'll play it in a segment on the air. Sorry for the people who have joined. Well, first, thank you for the folks that have joined the Patreon so far. That is frickin' awesome. You are frickin' awesome. Sorry I got you the voicemail number so late, but everybody going forward will be getting that right away. As Diane says in the chat, please join us on the Patreon. So we'll talk a little bit here in the chat, give some folks some time to join the show. Obviously, I understand we got a rain delay happening right now, but also I understand at the same time democracy is happening right now with the State of the Union address going on. But that doesn't mean we can't talk Dodgers baseball. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Johnny Chingas is in the chat. I know one of the first folks here in the chat tonight, so cheers to you, Johnny Chingas. We got BC in the chat. Of course, we got Diane Schroeder in the chat. The crown princess, queen, I don't know. I'm probably going too far with this, but one of the legends of the chat. We love Diane. Jared Myers in the chat talking about Lux. Lux is out already. WTF. There was a change with Lux. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's let some more folks get into the chat here. You know, it takes time for everybody to click on the little button and get settled in for a Thirsty Thursday stream, but we will talk about it in a second. Chris is checking in from Kentucky. Denny Cortez's rain delay show. We got the rain delay going. Trey B is in the chat. Our friend Craig Osterberg is in the chat. What is going on, Craig? Good to see you in here. My guy Cooper Neal is in the chat as well. Designer extraordinaire. Johnny Chingas wants to see a Lux trade. So everybody save your big time Lux thoughts after I'm done talking about Lux, because I want to kind of get everybody's thoughts about Lux and that whole situation, because there's a lot to be discussed about Gavbo, as I call him. One-Eye Dragon says it is a fiesta. I'm assuming it is a fiesta right now inside my city. We got thunder and lightning going on for Robert Carlson. Yeah, it got really, really nutty. It was a beautiful day, and then all of a sudden, just death rain. Literal, what do we call it? Flash flood warnings going on here. It's pretty nuts. Pets' heads were falling off. I think that's 2 videos in a row where I've dropped the Dumb and Dumber reference. So mash that thumbs up button for Dumb and Dumber. We love things that are 30-year-old movies. Danny Cortez says the Dodgers would have a good shortstop if they could mesh Lux and Rojas together. We call him Rolux. I like that. I'll hit a coin for that one because that is cool. Robert Carlson likes the Discord idea. Join the Discord if you want on the Patreon. Again, that is Patreon.com/realfrg, trying to blow that thing up. Hopefully, trying to also make it something that's fun for you guys. And, I don't know. I want to know what people want out of it. I don't want to just come up with all the ideas and say, this is what it is and all that kind of stuff. So you guys got ideas, let them know, DM me, all that kind of stuff. La Jolla Poppy is in the chat talking about that boring ass game that we were watching. A lot of wild pitching, not too many fans of the strike zone, we'll say. Not too many, they were not fans of the strike zone, were Paxton and Harrison. Words are hard. Let's lock it in right now. Roy is checking in from Costa Mesa. My guy, Angel Enriquez with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, Angel. We appreciate you for hanging out with us in the chat. Says Diane needs a mover for the other OG legend. Listen, Angel. You could be a legend just as much as Diane, but Diane works hard in these streams. One of our fine moderators in there. Johnny Owen talking about Gavin Lux and that noodle arm. Let's see. Aeronetic asking about the storm system getting to Arizona that fast. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of rain going on, but rain will not go away for Gavin Lux. Oh, segue. Let's talk Gavin Lux. So Dave Roberts today changed his tune, or really his commitment to Gavin Lux. Really, it was within a day he kind of changed it. The difference a day makes. On Wednesday, Dave says he wasn't worried about Lux's defense, saying that it'll be where it needs to be when the bell rings. So when we get to opening day, Lux is going to be where they need him. One day later, or a little over a day later, I guess, considering the end of the game and then pre-game Dave talk at Camelback today, Dave was asked about Lux. Is he going to be the starting shortstop on opening day? And in Dave speak, this was the closest you'll get to a no right now situation. So let's look a little bit at some of Dave's words. Talking about performance is important. Performance is paramount at this level. There was a few meaty nuggets from Dave. But one of the biggest things was Dave very, very clearly, when asked, is Lux going to be the shortstop on opening day? Dave, I don't know. That was one of the big things. And he said it very clearly, very emphatically. I don't know if Lux will be the starting shortstop on opening day. Of course, that would be in Korea. I think it's worth noting right now, today is literally 1 month to the day that Gavin had the surgery. March 7th, 2023 is when he had the knee surgery in LA. And now we're still just barely a year away from it, removed from it. And Lux is such a mental dude, such a cerebral dude that wasn't supposed to come back up, but we'll figure that one out real quick. You go away. Lost my train of thought, but if he doesn't make the Korea series, that first opening day roster, it's not that huge of a deal. And I think Gavin, everybody, the Dodgers need to kind of resign themselves to the fact that if he doesn't play 2 games a week ahead of everybody else, that in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean all that much. But so Dave says, I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know that it will be in the vein of whatever gives us the best chance to win. Errors do not give the Dodgers the best chance to win, or wild throws, because it's not all errors, as we've seen for Gavin Lux. We've watched the highlights, we'll call them, some lowlights. For me, when we're entering spring training, you folks that have watched over the last number of months, for me, the worry was on the knee, the recovery from the knee, and how will that kind of affect him mentally, or how will that limit the game? Could that limit the game? Will it lead to issues on the play, in his play? And it doesn't seem like it's a knee. It seems like it's really back to, we're going old school here. We got some throwing yips. We got some 2021 Luxy. We got some 2019 Luxy. The play has been woof, we'll say. Gavin Yips still blaming it on the knee a little bit, which is fair. That is more than fine, because that is part of the struggle pie that we are assembling right here. It is a 17-layer dip of struggle. I don't know why I switched from pie to dip, but dip is known to be in different layers. Gavin had told media, by the way, Gavin did not make himself available to media today, which is also fair. I think that's fine. I think he should be, he needs to protect his mentals right now, and talking about it isn't going to help him. It's just going to get him more in his head. I mean, it's part of the job to talk about it, but I think it does get him more in his head. But one of the things he said earlier this week, he's still trying to, quote, feel out my knee and everything and get comfortable with that. So he's trying to, I wouldn't say, sink some blame into the knee, but it's part of, again, that layer, many layered dip there where the knee was bad. It didn't let him play games. He's so far removed, or he's so far removed from consistently playing games that he's got to get his legs back under him, quite literally. So he's putting in the work. You can never fault Lux. You can never say that Lux is not putting in the work, because this is a kid that does work very hard. The problem is maybe you can work too hard, or maybe you work so hard you just kind of fry your brain on it. It's a vicious cycle that Luxy is in right now. You're trying to get out of your head while coming back from this devastating knee injury, and then you think about the knee when you're trying to make a play, you botch the play, you feel everyone just watching you, peering into your soul, you try to shake it off, you get your next chance, and you're in your head like, don't F this one up, you F that one up, the noise gets louder. You remember the last time you had these issues a couple years ago, you see those headlines floating through your head. You start to pray for the ball to get hit anywhere else. Your hands start to feel clammy, knees weak, arms are heavy. You get that next ball hit to you, and you're trying to be mechanically perfect. And this is one of the things Dave talked about as well. It doesn't look like he's playing free and easy baseball. It looks like he's trying to guide the ball. And this is one of the things they also talked about in the pregame show on Sportsnet LA. But you do that, you're going to be more stiff during a play. You throw another one away. The walls are closing in on you. More and more questions are coming, whether they be to you or to Dave Roberts, and you're going to see those questions. You are active enough on social media where you see all that kind of stuff. It's a tough situation that Gavin Lux finds himself in. So we wonder, maybe he does just need more time. He's getting to balls. He's absolutely getting to plays. He's just missing the back half of plays. Not all of the plays he's getting to have looked perfect and sexy, but it's about being able to get to a ball, make ball go to first base or wherever it needs to go. So you do wonder if maybe at this point in time, it might just be the best case scenario if the Dodgers were to put him on the injured list to open the season, keep him away from the brightest lights for a little bit longer while he gets himself back into form. Look at what the team is doing with Walker Buehler right now. They're holding him back for his long-term success. Give Gavin his time. Give him time to get everything 100% right or closer to it. It's not what anyone wants, but it may be the best thing for everyone right now. Again, 1 year to the day removed from the surgery that kind of changed his career. So let me take a sip here before we get into more of my 2 cents on the situation, because folks who know me know that I'm a big-time fan of the defense. I love defense. I prefer defense over, you want a good offense, you need a good O. If you get a good D, then you might get an O. All right, I'm going to stop on that. But my 2 cents on the situation. If we're talking about potentially not having Gavin Lux on the opening day roster just for 2 games, if it is just for that extra week, that's not a major problem. But overall, the grand scheme of things, defense is more important to this team than offense when it comes to the shortstop position. Dave Roberts even said it in his pregame scrum where he said all those other words about Lux. The most premium positions defensively for the Dodgers or catcher and shortstop. But I mean, Dave says a lot of things. It's what he kind of does. He loves to do the words. But again, defense is more important to this team, in my opinion, than offense when it comes to the shortstop position. And this isn't me trying to pile on Gavin Lux. This isn't me trying to slam Gavin Lux. Him and I have a contentious relationship over the years. I love the dude. I wish the best for the guy, but he's his own worst enemy at times, and it all just kind of escalates on him. But this is not about Lux. This is about the number. We're talking about the shortstop. In this case, it's Lux. The shortstop is slated to be the number 9 hitter in the lineup anyway. So if we're talking about somebody between Lux and you would assume the backup would be Miguel Rojas. We're talking about somebody getting on base 34 to 35% of the time versus 29% of the time. But that 29% of the time, guy, saves your team 6 outs above average or 12 defensive runs over the course of a season versus somebody who has a -5 outs above average, or we'll just say could cost your team 5 outs above or below the next average defender at shortstop. So in that situation, we're talking again about the 8 or 9 hitter. I'm taking the defender. I'm taking the defense. I'm taking somebody who can save my pitching staff, save the potential morale hit of an error over 3 or 4 at bats, maybe a little bit more. 3 or 4 at bats are opportunities to affect the game per night versus potentially, technically being in play on every play for 9 innings. You know, really, the idea of having Miguel Rojas in there also helps ease the burden for Max Muncy at third base as well. So not an ideal situation, not an ideal scenario. It's not the scenario the team wants in a perfect world. Every team wants someone that can get it done on both sides of the ball. Maybe one day Gavin Lux can do that, but right now it seems like the more visibility he has in this situation, it's just going to hurt him more. It's not what the team wants, not what Gavin wants, it's not what necessarily I want, but we're talking about, again, an 8 or 9 hitter in your lineup. The errors hurt so much more. In my opinion, errors hurt more than a strikeout from your 8 or 9 hitter. The Dodgers played for 100 years with their pitcher hitting 9th in the lineup. I think they could manage. I think they could survive just a hair. And this team has enough offense with Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Will Smith, James Outman, and Jason Hayward all available in that lineup. They can use those guys. They have enough offense to make defense a priority at the shortstop position. That's what I feel about the situation. I want to know how folks feel here on the stream. There's a lot of yammering and rambling and complaining, and I don't know what it is, but I had some words to say about the Gavin Lux situation. Really, we'll just say the shortstop situation. But Sammy Boy Smith in the chat saying Lux will get better when. Fair. We have heard for a very long time Gavin Lux is going to figure it out. Oh, Gavin Lux is playing out of position at second base. They try to throw him in the outfield to add to his defensive versatility. It did not work. They tried to play him at some third base. It did not work. Maybe defense is just not this kid's forte. No matter how many folks I've heard, ball watchers I've heard talk about this dude over the years who said just give him his opportunity at shortstop and give him the runway. You got to also earn that opportunity, earn that runway at the major league level. Robert Carlson says, remember when Max Muncy struggled, he got over that. The other thing that I love about Muncy and Muncy's situation is, he got more playable in the second half of the season, even after the first couple of months. He got more playable, at least he got less bad, but he owned it. He's said really since FanFest or Dodger Fest this year, I was bad, and I've worked on the things, but all of this got in my head. He admitted bad hops screwed him up, and he's trying to course correct on it. So I appreciate that out of my guy, Mr. Max Muncy. William Andrews says, Lance Lynn just gave up another bomb, and we appreciate the levity and change of pace there for a second. Mark Bermejo, if I'm saying that wrong, says, I never really saw Lux as a good shortstop from the start since we lost. Okay. Seager, it wasn't, I know what he was saying. It doesn't say Seager, but since we lost Seager, then Trey Turner, then hearing Lux replace that, I wasn't feeling it. Lux never had that throwing arm to begin with. That is a very, very fair take. I had the same take or a similar take at the time after Trey Turner left or after they let him walk and they were going all in. The Dodgers were going all in on Gavin Lux as the starting shortstop. I was worried. Folks who were watching Blue Heaven back in the day. No, I was worried about that situation because not so much that, hey, he didn't earn it, but maybe he's just not a shortstop. Maybe he's not necessarily a defender. And the arm, you can get away with not having the best arm at the position. I mean, we saw David Eckstein win 2 World Series being 5'4" and maybe hitting 72 miles an hour on his throws. I think the problem is, for Luxy, he's here just gripping the crap out of the ball and then chucking it straight into the dirt. I mean, look at how many of these throws are bouncing halfway through the grass. It's a concern. It's definitely a concern, but appreciate the input from Mark there. I did hear that I'm seeing that the game was canceled. That's fine. It was meaningless and people got their pitches in and their at-bats in. So did they even score? Was there, I don't even remember what the final was. You know what? Go Dodgers. Anytime the game's over, that's fine. Good one here from Craig saying, how can Lux relax with 56,000 people watching him? It's part of the business. You want to be a big leaguer. You want to live out every little kid's dream, being the starting shortstop for the Los Angeles Dodgers. You got to be able to play in front of a lot of people in the biggest stages. Sarah Morris, good comment here. To me, if we can't limit runs, we won't win. What do they say? Defense wins championships. So that's important there. A little bit back in the comments here, scrolling upwards. Diane had asked, what am I drinking? I am drinking rum and cola. Forgot what kind of rum, but it is rum and it is a whiskey cola, Coke Zero, because I care about my body. I kid. I understand here that there was a super chat. Am I missing? Did I miss? Oh, there we go. It feels louder than normal. I don't know if it's just me, but we got a super chat from Yota. I don't know if it's for Toyota or somebody misspelled Yoda, but thank you. There was no comment there, but I appreciate the $5 super chat from Yoda. $5 goes a whole long way. $5 can get you also access to the voicemail hotline and other things on the Patreon, guys. I don't know if that's a good price or not. That was just one that made sense on that platform, but again, patreon.com/realfrg. But also, we love all super chats here, guys. Appreciate you guys. Diane says everything is earned when we're talking about shortstop, as I just come out of talking about, hey, guys, money and all that kind of stuff. Segue. Everything is earned, and I think the Dodgers were too, I don't know if it's too ready or too willing to hand off that shortstop position to Lux when I don't know that he didn't. I don't know if he did not earn it. He didn't necessarily have an opportunity to earn it because he had blocking him before, when he first comes up, Corey Seager, a two-time, he wasn't the World Series MVP, but a two-time World Series winner, very, very good shortstop, multi-time All-Star. And then after that, another World Series winner, another multi-time shortstop All-Star, and Trey Turner blocking him. But we heard the noise. We heard about some of the struggles, potential four struggles at shortstop when he was even having that monster year, hitting whatever it was, 356 or something like that, in 2019 at AAA. Well, AA then AAA, but got to earn it. I agree. You got to earn it. And I would imagine some of that noise is kind of in Luxie's ear, in his own head, because he knows he hears it all. He sees all of this stuff. And he really, I wouldn't say lets it. Yeah, I will say he lets it get to him. He can let it get to him for sure. Let's see what else we got here. A couple more from on this Lux thing, and then we will shift gears. Vargas Herbert says, except Lux has had issues throwing a baseball before the knee injury. So there we go. We'll give that a point there, because I just remembered I can add points. Team Ruiz defending Lux, saying, leave Lux alone, let him play. When Mookie was struggling, they left him alone. Leave Lux alone and let him figure it out. The difference between Gavin Lux and Mookie Betts is that Mookie Betts has a track record as a Major League All-Star, as a Major League star, as a Major League contributor, as a World Series champion, as a former league MVP. Mookie has done it. He has laid himself, he's laid out his resume. And when he does struggle a little bit, he eventually figures it out. But even when Mookie's struggling, we're talking about him struggling on offense. He's still helping the team defensively, or more so, not hurting the team defensively. So Gavin's got to be able to do one of them, but I worry about the defense being potentially that much worse than any of the offense he could add. But we're at a point now too where he hasn't earned us just leaving him alone. At least that's in my opinion on it. You know, he was not necessarily the problem. Yamamoto was the problem because he was having a whole bunch of issues with finding the strike zone in his most recent start on Wednesday. But was it Wednesday? Anyways, in his most recent start, we'll say. But the left side of the infield did not help him. Just saying. How is Lux hurting the team? The team is loaded. He's hurting the team if he's only hitting 280 to 290, but he's potentially not getting to plays, or he's throwing some plays away. He's not super far off from being able to figure it out for sure. And he has time to figure it out. We just need to he needs to be okay. We all need to be open to the idea that maybe Lux needs a little bit more time to get everything figured out in his game. Just everything. DJ Jesse asking about Trey Sweeney. They talk about him as one of those defensive first infielders. He's definitely shown some pop at short here in small sample size at during Cactus League play. He's not somebody that we anticipate seeing anytime soon, because if it's not Lux, next in the pecking order is going to be Miguel Rojas, and then Kike Hernandez and CT3. They have a decent amount of shortstop depth. And again, the whole point of this, and we'll button it up here, the whole point of this is just to buy Luxie a little bit of time to get the throws, get his feet under him, get the throws squared away, get his confidence back. He is a guy that thrives and rides on confidence. And if it's shaken, his game, it's a no bueno. Young E asking, is Kike regressing? I mean, what year is it? Don't get me started on Kike, guys. Don't get me started about Kike. One Eye Dragon says, don't worry, be happy. Guys, be happy. Hit that thumbs up button if you want Gavin Lux to figure it out. Hit that thumbs up button if you want Miguel Rojas to be your opening day shortstop. Hit that thumbs up button if you want $1 million to maybe end up in your mailbox. Hit that thumbs up button for me to have a drink. Also subscribe to the channel. Sorry for the tongue stuff there, guys. Carnivorous Lunar Activity believes that Lux just needs playing time. Yeah, he needs playing time, but we're running out of playing time in this shortened spring training season. So, for me, at the bare minimum, to not have him worry about that Korea series and stay at Camelback, play in some backfields games, keep getting your work in, meet the team when they're back in LA to play the Angels, and then then he can start in LA on that opening day. He's got 2 opening days. The Dodgers have 2 opening days to look forward to. So that I think is, I don't know if the smartest play, but I really, really like that idea. I like that concept of it's the best of both worlds, because you're not giving him the pressure of the opening day start in Korea, and playing the Padres and all of that. I think you just you put the premium on defense against the Padres. They're not as good as they used to be. But anyways, Craig Osterberg believes that Luxy should have played tonight. It would have probably been he would have got rained out. He got, from my understanding, he was at Camelback getting his work in there with the guys on the backfields. Diane Schroeder, this will be the last Gavin Lux thing, and then we will move on. I already said that a couple of times, but Diane says, y'all, there's nothing wrong with Miggy Rojas starting at shortstop while Gavin gets straight. Don't forget, Miguel Rojas went on a little bit of a roll after the All-Star break last year, and I think he hit to 271 after the All-Star break. He's a career 311 on base. If you're able to do that, again, with your 8 or 9 hole hitter, that's more than enough to keep the line moving, and it's better than what a pitcher would have done. And you are getting I think it's technically or officially the best defensive shortstop in baseball in the game with Miggy Rojas. Team Ruiz still all in on Lux. Lux will be an all-star. Just watch. I hope. I would love to see the best out of Gavin Lux, and I do believe. I already said I was going to stop talking about Lux, and this will be the last one. I promise. I believe Lux will be best. He can be an all-star if he just has the humility to take 2 games off in Korea. Give him a couple more days. Give him a couple more days. That's fine. In other Dodgers news or things, I don't even know if it's technically news as we talk almost for a half an hour about Gavin Lux, but it wouldn't be an all Dodgers show. It wouldn't be a show with me if I didn't, complain about Lux in some way, but not really complain. Just put some things out there. But also if we didn't talk about Dodger pitching. So there's sort of, I was going to be a lot more gung-ho about it, that the bullpen was coming into more, or the bullpen picture was like getting really into focus. But the more I actually sat back and thought about it, I would say it's coming. The bullpen picture is getting together. I think, barring injuries, let's change it. Barring injuries, we know the locks. You got your closer in Evan Phillips. You got Brusdar Graterol. You got Joe Kelly. Got Ryan Brazier, who's had a tough spring, but he's still going to be a lock in the bullpen. You got Alex Vesia, who's always going to be in there. He's their primary lefty, and then you got the other lefty who's also going to add some length to as an opener, as a bulk guy in Ryan Yarbrough. This team really, really wants Blake Treinen on the opening day roster. They want JP Fireeisen on the active roster. And they really want Dan Hudson on the active roster at some point. And that's kind of the thing that made me sort of flip how, what am I looking for? How certain, I guess, I was going to make this segment, because it became a little bit less certain or whatever. So Dave Roberts did confirm this week Dan Hudson will be on the roster eventually. His quote, I think Huddy looks really good. He's going to be in our bullpen. We just need to figure out the buildup, because he's missed significant time last year, the last couple of years, really. He says, or does Dave, it's more making sure we have conversations on where he's at physically and performance-wise to start the season. He doesn't think there's a hard date for Hudson to join the active roster. The quote is, when he's ready, when we feel he's ready, then we'll make our decision. An important note, Hudson did or does have a March 15th opt-out on his minor league deal, and that was probably something that kind of sparked Dave's decision to speak into existence that Dan Hudson will be a part of this bullpen at some point in time, whenever that may be. But Hudson also kind of realized it's not a guarantee that he makes it all the way back, You go back a decade, he had the two elbow surgeries, the back-to-back Tommy Johns, didn't pitch for the better part of like 2.5, 3 years. Now had the back-to-back seasons with knee injuries. So there was something kind of that stood out to me from Danny Hudson saying, if we decide in a week or two that it's just not working, I'm more than happy with what I've done in my career. I just want to give it one more shot, and it's fine. It's applaudable that he, I don't even know if that's the right word there, but this is a dude who's 37. He's a World Series champion. He got the final out of a World Series. He's lived the highest of highs. He's definitely lived a lot of the lows in this game. But he's happy to walk away, but he also wants to keep pitching. And we've seen when he's on the mound, he can still get it done. He talked about, the life on the fastball. They like the fastball. Maybe the breaking stuff isn't where it needs to be just yet, but it's getting there. So with this guy out, with Dan Hudson not being one of the guys that makes the we'll say the Korea series roster, maybe now there's some other opportunities. Some other guys could sneak into the bullpen mix. There's the Michael Grove, there's Kyle Hurt, JP Fireisen still, I've said it, not necessarily a lock. I think this team will really want to see what they have in Justin Wilson, the lefty. You got Matt Gage, who's on the 40-man as a lefty, but they could afford to kind of, kick the can down the road because he's already on the 40-man roster. They don't need to worry about calling him up, and I think he's got minor league options. Somebody like Justin Wilson does not have minor league options. Kyle Hurt has options, obviously, but he could also provide the team length if they need to in Korea there. But where are we at right there? So that's Phillips, Brusdar, Joe Kelly, Ryan Brazier, Alex Vesia, Ryan Yarbrough, and then you got Trinan and Fireisen. So there's already your 13. So it's either going to be Fireisen or one other guy. I don't even know where Dan Hudson fits on the roster, barring injuries. We know there's going to be injuries or whatever, but they kind of got a lot of dudes. And eventually this is a staff that wants to get to a 6-man rotation. They're likely going to end up with a 6-man rotation by mid-season. You got a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of problems there. You got a lot of good to have problems, I guess. But, I don't know where you mix in Hudson, Fireisen. You want competition, like we talked about on Monday or whenever it was with Clayton Kershaw talking about, like, hey, I don't even know if I can make that starting rotation with how good it is. You want guys to feel like that. You want guys to keep fighting and being at their best for a job, maybe even at shortstop as well. But you wonder what that opening day, that final, we'll say the LA opening day. You wonder what that's going to end up looking like. Blake Trinan's feeling a lot more like a lock, by the way. Caution kind of advised, but they did talk about him. I think it was possibly over the weekend, very earlier in the week. He spoke with reporters about where he's at. The pitching gurus also talked about where he's at. I think Mark Pryor or Connor McGinnis were important or huge in that conversation. I think it was with the LA Times. I think one of the things that's been kind of questionable from the Dodgers is they're doing that thing where they don't want to outright say, what we're all thinking or say aloud what the situation is. As I see folks talking about the Bauer situation, we'll talk about the Trevor Bauer thing in a minute. I want to get through Blake Trinan here, but I don't anticipate we're going to see 98, 99 mile an hour Blake Trinan anymore. They also worry about the endurance, so maybe just maybe Blake Trinan isn't on the opening day roster as well. Maybe they IL him and give him a little bit more time, even as Sarah Morris says Trinan has looked good. I think he's looked very good, but they have a few of these guys that are sort of in that Walker Buehler situation where, okay, you have him on the opening day roster, and now you got to make it through the next, 180 days plus playoffs, 162 games, 180 days, and playoffs. That's a lot. That's a lot of it's a lot of workload for some guys that haven't really played that much for a few years. So if Trinan isn't on that opening day roster, and I wouldn't be surprised either way if he's on or if he's off the roster for the Korea series, just so the team can buy themselves more length guys, like somebody like a Michael Grover or a Kyle Hurt going with the team. I don't think it stunts their growth necessarily. They're going to get their work in there. And they're guys that can give the team 2 or 3, maybe 4 innings if they need at this point in the season, because Yamamoto is going to have 3-4 starts max before making that debut. The same with Tyler Glasnow. Give these guys a little bit more time. Don't expect them to go 5 or 6 innings in that series. I don't think anybody's expecting them to go 6 or 7 in that series, and give the kids an opportunity to get in the game and make a difference in the game, whether it be Grove or Kyle Hurt or what have you. So, also again to circle back, as I sort of mentally bail on this towards the end of the segment here, but the Dodgers are definitely, it sounds like they're kind of cautioning, don't necessarily expect a return of 2021 Blake Treinen, but even if he's not 21 Blake Treinen, he can still be really, really effing good. Anyways, I've seen the comment pop up a few times, and now I will indulge our friend Team Ruiz here in the chat saying the Dodgers could have 10 Otanis, but Dave Roberts is going to completely wreck this team. And I feel like that's let's go that one, and also that one. I feel like that's definitely as close as you can get to, without saying it, a fire Dave Roberts. So boom, there's your effort to push more buttons, I guess. All right, what are we talking about here? I see people talking about the Bauer thing. So, old friend Trevor Bauer is in the news as we dip into our final stanza of the show here. I don't think that's a stanza. I think that's a music thing. So Bauer is in the news for having signed a deal. I don't even know if that's the right way of saying it. He is pitching for a team called the Asian Breeze. They are, I believe, based out of Arizona, but it is like a travel ball team and showcase team. From my understanding, it's a pay-to-play situation where folks are trying to get visibility in front of scouts and other, whether it be major league teams or what have you, probably trying to get independent league deals, minor league deals. The Bauer situation, he still seems to be very much not on anybody's radar. I don't think he's doing himself any favors with the content he's been putting out on his YouTube channel this offseason, where he's getting we'll say he's getting beat by not quite major league talent in little like live batting practice sessions and all that. So it's not sad, but it's a sad situation. I would imagine somebody finds themselves in going from a Cy Young Award winner to potentially paying to play with the team. And the point of all this and how it links itself to the Dodgers is that he will be pitching at Camelback Ranch on the backfields this Sunday. The 10th is when it was. Let me double check that situation. I thought I had it open somewhere, but I do not. Yeah, he's going to be pitching at Camelback Ranch, and I think, from my understanding, he's also going to potentially, that team is supposed to play the Dodgers at some point, maybe. I don't know if I saw that one right or wrong. So we got Asian Breeze is a self-described tryout program that charges players nearly $2,600 for a 20-day barnstorming trip to the U.S. Its rosters are typically feature a mixed bag of talent from fringe pro prospects to former youth players with little chance of extending their careers. So that team's Sunday visit will include an appearance from Bauer. So Bauer, again, pitches this Sunday at Camelback. Apparently, the Dodgers had no idea about it. Dave Roberts was asked about it today, and he's like, I'm not touching that at all. Like, he wants nothing. His quote, no comment on that one from Dave Roberts at at Camelback on Thursday, did Dave say that. So I don't know. I don't want to say too much about the situation. I just think it's kind of funny and it's kind of sad. And I don't anticipate. I've said it a number of times. I don't anticipate this dude pitching, as a major leaguer again. Maybe not now. Maybe somewhere down the road. Definitely not now. It doesn't seem that way. By this point now, some team would have signed him. Any team that was going to take that flyer was going to do it. Bauer's out here saying, as Abstract pointed out, like, dude said he'd pitch for the major league minimum. And I mean, it's major league minimum, but he would also want to bake in like extreme, what are they called again? Words are hard right now. I always hate talking about this dude, so it messes up my brain a little bit. Escalators, contract escalators. So if I reach X amount of games started, X amount of innings, you give me this much money. So caution with somebody like a Trevor Bauer. I'm not saying that he is doing this or he does this. Somebody like that. Some might, use their media platform to put out one outward persona, but in the background be, and leaving out some important details like, yeah, I'll pitch for the major league minimum, but also all the contract incentives say, but I can get paid upwards of $30 million if I hit all these marks, which if he's, right and he's healthy and he's pitching every fifth or fourth day like he wants, then he'd be able to hit those escalators no problem. I don't think that's something that is necessarily helping his situation, but I don't anticipate very, very much coverage out of this whole thing. But that's the news right there as of now. He's going to be pitching against the Dodgers, I guess, sort of. He's going to be pitching at Camelback against minor leaguers. So anyway, other little bits of things I wanted to talk about before we get out of here. Probably potentially a little bit shorter of a stream today. Your boy's a little tired. Bob D, great question. How's Anthony Rendon doing? I think he was trimming his toenails and he cut just a little too short, so he's going to be on the IL. He's actually on the 60-day IL at the moment. I don't anticipate him making any starts at third base for the Angels this season. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about a little bit about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Yama if you're nasty, or Yama nasty if you're nasty. Talked about it a little bit. Did not have his best game. He owned up to it, saying like, "Hey, I didn't have my best stuff. My control was crap. The left side of he didn't say this, but the left side of that infield defense did not help him even slightly. But he survived, I guess we'll say." Another little note. This is just random little last bits and pieces before we get out of here. Kyle Hurt said he is being told as of now to build up as a starter. We all know that his future lies in the bullpen because that fool's a beast. And I think everybody's kind of, from what I'm hearing from folks, my assessment of him, my assessment that I gave on the pitching prospects preseason preview that I did with Casey Porter about a month or so ago. My assessment of Kyle Hurt at the time was pretty apt in that he is kind of, I call him Big Hoss, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that can be a little frightening out of the back end of a bullpen for some hitters. Anyways, not a very good complete thought there, but right now Kyle Hurt is building up to be a starting pitcher. Final thing I wanted to talk about before we do get out of here for the evening, as the lovely Diane says, smash that like button. Why not? I would suggest you do it. I'd suggest you subscribe as well. Those type of things that really do help out the channel if you are in the interest of helping out your boy here. What did Diane say here at the bottom? It says if you have not subscribed, there it is, same time. It really helps out the algorithm. And again, helps out the algo completely free if you subscribe to the channel. But the last thing I wanted to talk about is The rosters were set for the upcoming spring breakout game, or the minor league breakout game. It's essentially kind of a minor league all-star game or all-star series that, I don't know, where MLB put together for this season. It happens during spring training. It actually happens when the Dodgers are gone, but it's all Raz says I'm buzzed, jumping topic to topic. Look, I told you, man, the whole Bauer thing just gets me a little thrown off. Plus, at the end here, there's a lot of little small topics. The main thing I wanted to talk about today was Gavin Lux. We made it through that. You survived. You got your solid 30 minutes at the start of the show, and now we're just, rambling. You guys want to talk about things, we'll talk about them. But I wanted to talk about the breakout thing. So that's happening March 16th at Tempe Diablo. Hell of a list coming from of Dodgers playing in this game. It's all non-40-man guys on that will be playing that make up this roster. So you're not going to see people like Kyle Hurton. You're not going to see a Gavin Stone or anything, even though he would be in Korea with the team. Some of the guys you will see, though. My list of highlights. So the guy the Dodgers picked up from the Cubs in the Michael Busch trade, Jackson Ferris, he is on the roster. There's a lot of pitchers, considering it's like one game that Sunday, or it's a Saturday at Tempe Diablo against the Angels. You got Jackson Ferris, Ronan Kopp, who's a guy I've talked about a couple of times, a lefty that I think we could see this year. Another lefty, John Rooney, who I think we really, really could see this year. Probably less likely to see Ronan Kopp. He's still a little bit young. Alec Gamboa. So, like, all the lefties the Dodgers have, the guys we're not going to maybe see this year, but we will see in the next couple of years, or we'll see their names a lot. They're going to be here. They're going to be playing in this. Also, Dalton Rushing is going to be playing in this game. He should be starting. He's the Dodgers' number one prospect. He should be starting in that game. All of their top 30 pitching prospects are in there, except for, of course, Diego Cartaya, because Diego is on the 40-man roster. He's also hurt, dealing with the bad back. Trey Sweeney, Jake Geloff, those are a couple of guys we've seen here during spring training. We already talked about Sweeney a little bit. Austin Gauthier, or Gauthier, if you want to say it wrong. And the other kid they also picked up this offseason in a trade, Noah Miller. That was the most recent one, the Manuel Margot trade. He'll be out there. We've seen some Alex Freeland this spring training, but I guess I kind of devolved here. I'm just saying names instead of my highlights. They're sort of my highlights here. I like seeing Sweeney. I want to see Noah Miller. Josue De Paula, who has one spring training at bat, and it was a home run. Watching Josue is going to be big. And then we've seen a lot of Jose Ramos. He will be in this. And the other kid they got in the Michael Busch trade, Zaire Hope. So that is at Tempe Diablo Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. Dodgers against the Angels, minor league breakout game. And I will be at that game. So if you see me, buy me a beer. Tell me a story. Because why not? But anyways, anybody going to be out there, by the way, spring training next week? You let me know in the comments below. I'm going to the final Dodger spring training game before they pack up and head out to Korea. So I'll be at Camelback on Wednesday the 13th, and then we'll, go around, see other games until that Dodger minor league game on Saturday. So yeah, if you guys are going there, let me know. Be interested in trying to meet up with some folks, because why not? We're in Arizona. Carnivorous Lunar Activity. We got Carney asking, Sweeney may be a sleeper, no? I think that's going to be one of those guys, you trust the Andrew Friedman process. And if they liked him well enough to trade, what was that? That was the Victor Gonzalez, Horbit Vivas trade. Rave reviews as a defender, the other guy, Noah Miller, rave reviews. Solid reviews on Trey Sweeney. Could be a sleeper for sure. Could be somebody that makes a difference for this team down the road. Roy Estrada says he was watching the Dodger game, but it got rained out. Boo. Young Yi wants them to bring back Seager. I would love to see Corey Seager back in Dodger Blue, but that will never, ever happen. Diane was planning on going to spring training, but has a new listing that she's bringing on tomorrow. So, guys, make sure you, I guess give a round of applause that Diane is able to flip that house quick enough to come meet us and hang out in spring training. Kevin Newhouse wants Trey Sweeney to be the future shortstop for the Dodgers. Look at that. We're already giving up on Gavin Lux. Isn't this a better world? So rude. So mean. He's a nice kid. He means well. Denny Cortez said Yamasan will be fine. He was trying stuff out and with a different glove. Yeah, I'm not worried about Yoshi Yamamoto even slightly. This is a dude that's a beast. This is a dude that was making his second start, and maybe he didn't have his best stuff, or maybe he was, like you were saying, playing around with different stuff. Importantly, the forkball, the splitter was still nasty. So that's what you want to see out of my guy. But I believe, gang, that is about it. Sorry I didn't post a video yesterday. I will be back on Friday posting something shorter, whatever's going on. Probably Friday and Saturday. I think it might for now until the full season gets going. I might for now take Sundays and Wednesdays off from posting videos. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll try to keep people in the loop. You guys let me know what the hell, again, you want to see. I'm going to be also trying to work on some longer form videos, or just different videos that are less about what happened today and sort of more evergreen in spirit. So if you guys want to see more of those, mash that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe. Those are the type of things that really do help out the channel. If you enjoyed the show, that's another good way of showing your support. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the great questions, comments. Thank you so much for the super chats. That does mean a whole lot to me. Reminder that if you are looking for another way to support the channel, we do have a Patreon set up. Consider checking it out. Consider not checking it out. You get a few little member perks there. Again, it's very, very new, trying to build it up. But if you do want to check it out, I would be grateful if you do. Link is in the description. If you guys can't watch these shows live, don't forget, all of them go up on the podcast feed, All Dodgers Podcast with Clint Pasillas on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We are part of the Believe network of podcasts. Consider rating the show there and reviewing the show on your favorite platform. I am Real FRG on all of the things. Find me if you want. I sometimes talk about the Dodgers, and I'll see you on the next one of these. Okay, bye.